And good morning. Happy Thursday. It's early right now. It's almost the weekend. I hope everyone is okay and still safe. Thank you all for joining me this morning. Please say hi in the chat. It really makes the webinars more enjoyable and easier for the teachers because I love talking to the students and interacting with you all. So please don't be shy and say hi. Tell me where you're from. My name is Pearl, and I am a teacher at the Milano Montenegro School. And I am originally from Florida in the United States. And I've been in Milan for about a year and a half. So great times. Um, Today we are going to do online dating in this focus activity. We're going to be doing dating vocabulary, icebreakers, and writing a description. I think this is a very appropriate, but it's a good lesson for this time, this day and age, considering we have so many apps to meet people online, like Tinder or Bumble, etc. I think this would be fun. We could learn a lot of new vocabularies, and maybe you could use some of these. All right. To get started, what is an icebreaker? What is an icebreaker? Like that, what is an icebreaker? And also, an icebreaker is not something we necessarily need to use for dating. We use icebreakers for jobs sometimes or networking. They're really useful. So, how would you describe what an icebreaker is? So, what is an icebreaker? There are a lot of great ones out there. When I was younger, I really didn't enjoy icebreakers because the questions were usually a little bit silly. But they're great. They're good. They make you think. So, what is an icebreaker in your own words? Just go to it a little. Or if you can think of an example of an icebreaker, that'd be good too. What is an icebreaker? Or if you used any, if you have dated before, if you used any in your icebreaker, in your date, it'd be really great. But so we can continue. An icebreaker is a question you ask to start a conversation, and usually they're funny questions. They're not usual, like normal questions, like what do you do? They're fun questions, like if you were a superhero or something similar like that. But they're just nice to get you to think of something different and to start a conversation. Maybe if you ran out of things to say and you don't know what else to say after. Right, great. So dating history. So dating history. Answer these questions about your dating history. Have you been on a blind date? What was the best first date you have had? Do you go Dutch on dates? Have you ever stood someone up? And what's your dream date? So a lot of good vocabulary here. So what is a blind date first? What is a blind date? What is a blind date? And have you ever been on one? Have you ever been on one? I personally haven't been on a blind date, and I am not sure if I would ever go on a blind date. In theory, it sounds like it could be fun, but I'm not sure. And I think it'd be very difficult to go on a blind date now because of technology. I think it'd be very difficult to go on a blind date because there's so much resources available to us. But yeah, Maybe one day. Who knows? Never say never. But yes, I have never been on a blind date. So, what is a blind date? And have you ever been on a blind date? Maybe. And if you have, what was it like? Was it a good date? I never had the experience, so I would love to hear your stories about it if you want to share. Maybe it was great, or maybe it was terrible. So, what is a blind date? Hmm. A blind date. Hi, Julia. Hi, I'm Julia. My name is Julia from Bologna. Thank you. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining me here this Thursday morning. It's almost the weekend. Exciting. But yes, so I just asked the question, Julia, what is a blind date? Do you know what a blind date is? And have you ever been on one? Have you ever been on a blind date? I haven't been on a blind date. And I don't know if I ever would go on a blind date. I don't know. I don't have an interest in this type of dates. But what is a blind date? While we're waiting, I'm going to write it just to be case. Well, I think I'm waiting. Yeah. All right. Well, a blind date, for those of you who don't know, a blind date is a date with someone you haven't seen before. Blind date is a date with someone you haven't seen before. So if your friend tells you they want you to go out with another friend, but you don't know what they look like, it's a blind date. But I feel in this time period, it's very difficult to have a blind date because the internet will help you find out what they look like. David says, the best first date I had was when we got really drunk and toured London. That sounds amazing. London tour. It's a great first date. I'm very jealous. I can't remember the best first date I had. I'm very awkward. So I don't think I ever really had a really good first date. Anyone else, Julia? That sounds great. It does sound great, right, Julia? We're jealous. We got really drunk and toured London. I am jealous. I can't remember the best first date. We didn't mean to get drunk. But unexpected things are the best. A happy accident, you see. We went for lunch, but didn't stop drinking. That sounds amazing. Long liquid lunch. Good. Julia, do you have a really good first date you would like to share? Maybe. And then I showed him around the best parts of the center. Oh, that's nice. So you were like a free tour guide. Maybe it wasn't free. Maybe it wasn't free if you bought the alcohol. Then maybe it wasn't free. He paid you in drinks. Next, do you go Dutch on dates? So that's a great expression. What does go Dutch mean? I am young. Okay, Julia. That's fine. Well, it's great for you. Then you can prepare, I guess. I learned great expressions. What does go Dutch mean? I think it's different in Italian. They have a different nationality. They don't use Dutch, I believe, but we use Dutch in English. I don't even know how the Dutch feel about that. Maybe they don't like that expression, but it's not a bad thing. Usually I try to go Dutch on dates, but it usually never happens because the men usually are gentlemen and will not allow me to go Dutch on date, which I appreciate. But I would be okay if they wanted to go Dutch because I am an independent woman. Yes, always go Dutch. Always go Dutch. Yes, or make the effort to go Dutch, I think. Make the effort to go Dutch. So what does go Dutch mean? Go Dutch, to go Dutch, means that you split or you share everything equally. So you share the price of the bill equally. So not just the man or whoever one person pays, but you split the cost equally. So that's what it means to go Dutch. And I think that's fair. You know, you live in 2020. Yes, at least offer, of course. Make the movement like you're going for your bag or your wallet. I think it was 2020, and I think it's okay to split and share the price because we're all independent. I thought it was get drunk like Dutch courage. Oh, maybe it's something different in England. I don't know the expression. But yeah, get Dutch. I think it's something different in Italian. I think Italians have a similar expression, but they don't use Dutch. I'm not sure. Maybe Julia, you know. I don't know. But yeah. Next, have you ever stood someone up? So the verb is to stand. So what does stand someone up? It's not very nice. Stands. Oh no, I wrote that wrong. Sorry. I'm gonna write it again. Half a word. There we go. What does stand someone up mean? It's not very nice. And I've never done it. Oh, no, you don't use Dutch, Julia. Do you use another nationality? I don't know. I'm not sure. It's right here. I don't remember. What does stand someone up mean? I've never done it, and it hasn't been done to me. And I'm glad, knock on wood. We don't want it to happen. Even with friends, you can. It doesn't have to be a date. Your friends can stand you up too, which is not very nice. It's not a nice thing to do. It's very impolite. Well, what does that mean? To stand someone up. Stand someone up. I've never done it. Have you ever? Oh, we just say split. Oh, okay, never mind. I mean, we can say it. We can say in English too, like let's split the bill or share the bill. It's fine, but the expression of "let's go Dutch." So if someone says that to you, Julia, "Let's go Dutch," then you know it means to share the cost, share the bill. So to stand someone up means to not come to an appointment together. So if you tell someone, let's meet tomorrow at 7 and you never go or you don't go, you stand them up. So if someone tells you, let's meet at this time in this place, the other person doesn't come, they stood you up. So I was stood up or I stood someone up, which is not very nice. But I guess it does happen, which I don't think is very nice because we are adults and we can just say if we don't want to come. But yes, so to stand someone up, it means when you don't come to an agreed upon time or place. So you just leave the person there waiting for you, which is very cruel, especially if it's the first date, it's really mean. But don't do it. It's not very nice. Just tell someone you don't want to come, I guess. Have you ever stood someone up? I hope not. I don't know. Maybe you did on accident. I guess it can happen on accident sometimes. If you forget about an appointment, I guess it can happen, but maybe you've done it intentionally. I don't know. Next question. What is your dream date? Well, my dream date would be David's first date, which is to get drunk and go on a tour of London, because I haven't been to London in many years. That would be an awesome dream date. Just to drink and go sightseeing. That sounds amazing. But what's your dream date? What in your mind, what is your ideal dream date? What would be the most perfect dream date? Or maybe just eating something nice and going to a museum. That'd be nice too, because I like museums. Eating something with food. I've stood people up a few times and ghosted. Ooh, 2 ghosts. What a great word. That's not how you spell ghost. David used a more recent slang term, which is to ghost, which is also not nice. I've done that a few times too. I'm not the best. I feel like to ghost is the modern version of to stand someone up because it's easier. Yes, I have, especially ghosting, or I ghosted, or I was ghosted. It's not nice either, and it's probably something I shouldn't do. But to ghost means when you, it's a new English term, but it's when you are talking to someone romantically and you just stop responding to their messages or their SMS, their text, or whatever. You just stop talking to them at all. And it's like you're a ghost and you disappeared. So that's what to ghost means. That she ghosted me means that she just stopped talking to me, or she just stopped communicating with me at all. It's not answering my questions. It's like she disappeared. So that means to ghost, which is also not very nice either. But it is something that has come about due to the technology and apps and how we mostly communicate through messaging. So ghosting. So it's the modern version of to stand someone up. So I hope we don't do that either. Dream date, anyone? What is your dream date? Julia, do you have a dream date you would like to go on? Maybe something with food, drinking. Maybe like David, get drunk and go to London, tour London. Or maybe something, I think my dream date would definitely involve something with food. Like maybe like a class to make something we can eat. Or like a tasting, wine tasting, that'd be fun. Yeah. All right, let's continue. The history of dating. Wow, this picture's weird. Read the resource and then answer the questions. How has dating changed in the last 20 years? What is the dating etiquette in your country? And what is chivalry? And is it dead? Julia says, maybe to play poker and drink would be nice. Oh, that does sound like fun. Are you a good poker player, Julia? Do you like to play poker? I am not a good poker player. I should probably learn. I forget a lot of the rules. But that'd be fun to play poker with someone. It's a good way to, I guess, get to know someone, to see how they think, and if they're good at lying. Poker's a great way. Good. So how has dating changed in the last 20 years? What is that question? What is the dating etiquette in your country? And is chivalry dead? So I'm going to share. Oh, that's my face. The resource. All right. So dating has changed very quickly in recent years. Before the late 90s, if you had a crush on a girl, you had to search through town in hopes of physically finding her or wait until school. If you had her number, you could gather your courage and phone her family's house, but you'd have to get through her family just to talk to her. Today, teens exchange emoticon-filled messages on mobile phones and social networks. Online users post flattering photos, which probably conceal their major flaws, on their profile and flirt with other users on the site. Speed dating has also become more commonplace. These ultra-efficient events are arranged to give bachelors and bachelorettes the opportunity to meet as eligible singles as possible within a specific time. These events can be massive in countries like China, where a nationally imbalanced ratio of men to women has intensified the pressure to get married by the right age. More traditional approaches, such as posting personal ads in the newspaper's classified section, are still around as well. It's been a while that I don't play. That I haven't played. It's been a while that I haven't played. Good. So yes, So any questions about vocabulary in this text, please ask me. But how has dating changed in the last 20 years? I think this article is very accurate. When I was a child, I'm going to expose my age here. When I was a child, we didn't have phones and text messaging like cell phones. So if we had to call someone, we had to call their house phone and ask whoever answered the phone, like their mom or their dad, if we could speak to someone. So if you like someone, I guess you had to go through many barriers. And if you had to physically find a person, I think that's very strange now. If someone physically made the effort to find me in person, I would be a little worried because that's stalker-ish, kind of creepy. But I guess back then it was normal because that was the only way you could talk to someone. But yeah, I guess if you did today, it's kind of weird. But yeah, so how is dating different now compared to the past? The invention of technology has greatly affected how we date and meet people now. Maybe it is good, maybe it is bad. It depends on your point of view. I've never been on, oh, I have been speed dating. It was very fun, but unsuccessful, yes. Yes, and also with these new apps like Tinder or Bumble or Happen, posting photos, you always post the best ones of yourself. So maybe it is not truly who you are, and you can hide your major flaws, which I think most people do. So yeah, I guess social media has made it easier to trick people into thinking you are better than what you really are, which is unfortunate. But it's efficient to have all these apps. Flattering, when online users post flattering photos, flattering means to make yourself better. Flattering is something that makes you look really good. Flattering. To flatter is the verb. And that means to flatter is the verb. And when you flatter someone, flatter is when you tell someone a lot of compliments to make them feel good. Like if you want something from someone, want them to do something for you, and you tell them how great they are, how beautiful they are, you're flattering them. So a flattering photo is a really really good photo of you, really nice and appealing photo. Catfish. Catfish, David is just using so many slang words here. A catfish, to catfish is the verb. I'm getting hot. To catfish is when you portray yourself as another person. When you catfish someone, is when you portray yourself as another person to get the other person to like you. So it would be like if I said I was Angelina Jolie, but I really wasn't, and someone believed me, which I hope would never happen. But yes, to catfish is not a very nice thing to do. So if you post really beautiful photos of yourself on social media, like really, really good, or you edit or Photoshop them a lot and you change how you look too much, and when the person sees you in face to face and they say you look completely different from your photos, then we can say that's a catfish, or they thought you were another person. So please don't do that. It's very disappointing if you do that. But I don't think you need to. You should show who you really are. And if they like you for who you are, then you know it's real. Yes. Please, any other questions with vocabulary? Maybe I don't catfish people. No, David, I am not a catfish. If anything, we should post our most unflattering photos on these social apps. And if they like us, then we know it's real. That's what we should do. No, I think that's funny. I've been catfished before. Oh, that sucks. To be the one that is catfish, that's unfortunate. um, what do you do in that situation? I guess you could either, if you are catfish, that means someone fooled you by posting a different photo. But if that happens, I guess you could just say you're not interested anymore and just leave, or you could see what happens and continue anyway. Hmm. So, what is the dating etiquette in your country? So, Julia, what is the dating etiquette or the dating style in Italy? How do people date each other? Is it a lot of meeting out, talking, texting first? Dating etiquette. Should the man always ask the woman first, or is it more common for the women to ask the men? Do you go out alone or with friends? No, I don't know the dating etiquette. In America, I think men still usually ask women first, and then maybe they meet for coffee or something small, and they try and you they men I think men are still expected to pay for the first date in America, but it's okay if a woman wants to or she makes the effort to go Dutch. I asked them why they David does says I asked them why they catfished me, and they said it was them. I show them the pics, and this I said this isn't you. He has blonde hair. Wow, David. You had the receipts. I see. Well, I mean, if you're angry, I can definitely see that happening. Yes, you can ask them. You can very well do what David did and show them the actual photos and say that you are not the same. Yes, that is definitely one way to go. Why not? Yes, confront them about their photos. Right. Julia, the first date is often a coffee. And then I laughed. Of course. Of course. But okay, Julia's often a coffee, right? And then what happens after a coffee, Julia? Do you go to a restaurant? Do you continue to talk to them after? Or is it do you agree at the bar, like we like each other, let's continue, or like no? I feel it's very great to be honest upfront. There that goes. All right. What is chivalry and is it dead? What is chivalry and is it dead? What's chivalry and is it dead? I mean, it usually applies to men. What is chivalry and is it dead? I don't think it's dead, but I think it definitely has changed over the year. Um, Chivalry is when usually a man is very polite and treats the woman like a lady, like opens the door for her. It's like a knight in shining armor, like a prince. So it's kind of like what chivalry is, cares for the woman. I think now it's changed a little bit because women want to be treated more equally. So maybe men don't feel the need to do the things they've done in the past, open the doors for women or give them their jacket if they're cold, which is a little bit old school, but it's still nice. But I think it's less common now, which isn't a terrible thing because times change. I don't think it's dead. I think honestly it depends on the person and where they're from, where you're from. I think in more modern cities, it's not as common anymore to be as chivalrous, which is the adjective. It's always nice to be polite anyway. Let's continue. Icebreakers. Yes, icebreakers. When dating, when dating, icebreakers are a great way to start a conversation with a new person. Start a conversation using the icebreakers below. If you could be any animal, which would you be? If you had £1,000,000 or euros, dollars, what would you buy first? The date finishes with the coffee, and then you decide. You decide on another date. The restaurant camera. Later, you know the person better. The restaurant camera, restaurant room, maybe you did another person. Yes, I guess that makes sense. Then you go to a restaurant together to get to know the person, of course. That's good. Sounds pretty standard how the dating etiquette in Italy is compared to other countries. So yeah, sounds nice. Meet a coffee for coffee, something short in case you don't like the person. And then if you do, you can go on a date that's a little bit longer. Uh-huh. Good. So an icebreaker is, as I said earlier, is a type of question you ask someone just to keep the conversation continuing, to keep it going. So if you don't have something to say, these fun questions are a way to get the person to talk or to think. So if you could be any animal, what would you be? David says, I would be a polar bear. Why would you be a polar bear, David? This is how we keep the conversation. Julia, if you could be any animal, which animal would you be? I could be any animal. Polar bears are endangered, David. Global warming. If I could be any animal, which animal would I be? See, I want to say I would be a bird, but I'm scared of heights, so maybe that wouldn't be great. I think I would be a dolphin because with global warming and the sea level rising, I think it'd be great to live in the water. And dolphins are very smart and they stay with their family, and it looks like they have a really fun life. So I think I would be a dolphin. Why would you be a cat, Julia? Why would you be a cat? Why would you want to be a cat? Anyone else who's watching? There's 7 of you. If you could be any animal, which animal would you be? And why? Which animal would you be? I would be a dolphin because they're fun and they can go all over the world more or less. Because you could sleep the whole day. You know what? That is wonderful. A cat, cats do sleep a lot. I would like to sleep all day too. David, why would you want to be a polar bear? You didn't say. Anyone else? If you could be any animal, which animal would you be? I would be a dolphin. Julie would be a cat, so she could sleep all day. David has changed his answer. I'd actually be an eagle. You can fly, have lots of space to visit, you're independent and free. That's just why the eagle is the national bird of America, because we are independent from England, free. Oh, I get it. Okay. Haha. Polar bear was a joke. They're good icebreakers. Haha. I didn't get it the first time. I thought you were saying the questions are good icebreakers. Wow, it's 9:30 in the morning, guys. All right, next question. If you had £1,000,000, what would you buy first? All right, Julia, David. If you had £1,000,000, what would you buy first? If I had £1,000,000, I wouldn't buy anything first. The first thing I would do would be to pay off the debt I have that I owe, for like credit cards and my house. I'd pay off my house. And then it's hard to do jokes online because it's better to tell jokes in person. And then after I paid off my debt, I would probably buy a plane ticket to go somewhere. Oh no, I would buy my parents a house. I would buy my parents a house. So if you had £1,000,000, what would you buy first? After I paid off my debt, I would buy my parents a house, another house, or something like that. And then a plane ticket somewhere. But while I'm waiting for your answers, if you had £1,000,000, I'm trying to think of other good icebreakers. There are many icebreakers out there. A lot of them, I mean, I think the icebreakers you use for a first date could also be the same icebreakers you would use for a networking event or an interview. I think they're very universal. These are great icebreakers. Right? So what other icebreakers are there? What other icebreakers are there? If you had £1,000,000, what would be the first thing you buy? I'd buy a house and open dated return ticket. That would be great. Do those still exist? An open dated return ticket? I don't know. Open dated return. I don't know. That'd be great too. You know, £1,000,000 really isn't a lot if you think about it, because houses are really expensive if you want to live in a city. So if you buy a house, I think that would cost a lot of money. Yes, Julia, if you had £1,000,000, what would you buy first, or anyone else? The other four of you, what would you buy if you had £1,000,000? Hmm. A return flight. Yeah, I had one for Australia like 10 years ago. 10 years ago, David. They might not exist anymore. A small house, like £500,000. Okay, why not? A small house. And a fancy camera to take awesome photos on my trip. That'd be a good one. No, maybe buy a car. Maybe I would buy a car. I don't know. All right. I hope they do. Yeah, me too. Considering the travel industry now and how it's probably suffering because of the virus, I think it would be a great time to buy plane tickets once everything is back to normal. Future, Julia, future, you. Maybe it's a typo. I don't know. Maybe you mean furniture? No, I'm not sure. All right, we'll continue. But I have a really good icebreaker question. I'm going to ask it. Yeah. A very common icebreaker. If you were a superhero, what power would you have? Would you want to have? If I were a superhero, what power would I have? I think I would have, yes, conditional questions are all great for icebreakers. Yes, hypothetical, I would control. Yes, conditional questions, especially second conditional, which are hypothetical questions, are great for icebreakers because it causes the person to think about something they really probably haven't thought about before. David would control time. Why would you control time? I don't think I want to control time because I would be scared to go to the future to see what happens. If I had a superpower, I think I would want it to be teleportation. So I wouldn't have to buy plane tickets. And I don't really like flying. I don't like flying. The older I become, the less I like flying. Then if I mess something up, I can go back. True. Would you go to the future, David? I wouldn't go to the future because I'm scared. What if I'm dead in the future? See, I wouldn't want to go to the future. I would want to. Maybe I would go to the past. I can skip boring things and repeat fun things. Yes, we can relive the past. Yes, we could relive the past. Yes. Julia, if you were a superhero, what power would you have? I would want teleportation. So I can go wherever I want and I don't have to fly. And it could be instant. So I can instantly go. That way I can live in multiple countries if I wanted to. Just travel. I wouldn't go to the future because it would take away and good and fun surprises. Teleportation, me too, Julia. It's a great power. I think it'd be wonderful. So I can leave uncomfortable situations and just go to Rome on a moment's notice. I would love it. Great. I agree, Julia. I would. It would take away. It would take any fun and good surprises. That is true. That is true, David. It would. I wouldn't go to the future either. Next, personality descriptions. Look at the list of words below and think of a synonym and an antonym. So I'm going to show you a word. For example, outgoing. What is a synonym of outgoing? What is a synonym of outgoing? So let's expand our vocabulary. What is a synonym of outgoing? What is a synonym of outgoing? This task is impossible. Why? Why is this task impossible? Why is this task? Extrovert. Yeah, Julia, that's a really good. That's the one I was thinking about. Yeah, an extrovert is a noun, right? I'm an extrovert, extroverted. Bubbly is also a synonym. Bubbly means, but extroverted is also a synonym of outgoing, extroverted. Sociable, yes, is also a synonym. Bubbly is a synonym. Talkative, loud. Yeah, those could all be synonyms for someone who is outgoing. But I like extroverted. That's what I thought. What is an antonym of outgoing? An antonym, which is an opposite. The opposite of outgoing. Opposite of outgoing. I am not very outgoing. I am not very extroverted. I am actually the opposite. No, I'm actually very outgoing when I drink. Timid. Yes, timid or introverted. Yes, timid, introverted. That's the adjective, introverted. Yep, are antonyms, or they say shy. Yep, shy, quiet, introverted, timid. Yep, those are all antonyms. I am a little timid, a little shy. I am bubbly when I drink wine. Good. Adjective of happy. Adjective of happy. Happy is the adjective. Introverted. I'm glad I'm an introvert at the moment, as I think it makes quarantine much easier. I agree. I am quite introverted, and being in quarantine hasn't really been very difficult for me because I enjoy my alone time. So I agree. Being an introvert, it definitely made quarantine a bit easier. Yes. Happy. Adjective is happy. A synonym of happy. Go on. Sure, there's a lot. Cheerful, yeah, sure, cheerful, great. That's a good synonym. Smiley, yes, I can be smiley. I've been told that Americans are very smiley, which maybe is a bad thing. I don't know. Smiley, good. Julia, any synonyms? Joyful. I didn't think of that one. Joyful, yep, also one. An antonym of happy. There's so many. The opposite of happy. We know so much more for the antonym. So sad, depressed, grumpy, upset. Yes, those are all antonyms of happy. Oh, we knew so much more. Miserable. Oh, wow. Miserable. Yes, that is also one. I love this task, actually. Yes, it's so much fun. We're expanding our vocabulary. We're learning so many words. Miserable, that's a really strong one. Adventurous. Ooh, a synonym of adventurous. Haha, they throw another in there. Yeah. A synonym of adventurous. Hmm. Yeah, I was thinking daring. Daring or maybe brave, courageous. Maybe. Bold. Okay, yeah. Bold is also a good one. Bold. An antonym. A risk taker, I think, would be a good one. That's 2 words. It's a noun, actually, a risk taker. Risky. No, risky not the same as adventurous. Risk taker. Antonym. Antonym. Adventurous. I think an antonym would be, oh, maybe cautious. Cautious would be one. That was a more difficult one. Timid. I would think timid to be for outgoing. I would agree to disagree. Thoughtful. Yeah, maybe. Thoughtful. All right. So I disagree too, David. I don't think timid is a direct antonym of adventurous. I think maybe cautious. I like mine. Cautious. Would or careful would be a better antonym for that word. Anyway, so we reached the 50-minute mark. Thank you so much, Julia and David, for watching and participating with me this morning at 9. Thank you for joining me. I hope you both have a good weekend and that you have a happy Easter. And I hope to see everyone soon. Hopefully, yes, maybe next week. All right. Bye, everyone.